Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and if you need any Stampin' Up supplies, you can get them through me at the address at the top of the screen, cathryntiemann.stampinup.net, and I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you like my project today, which is this, if I do say so myself, this adorable purse. I love it. I used the Sweet as a Peach stamp set for this, the peach dies, the You're a Peach DSP, the messages die for the little hanger here, and Calypso Coral cardstock and Pale Papaya's cardstock. And this here is the new, well, from this last catalog, the Pale Papaya woven ribbon, which is really nice. It has a white strip, little tiny line of white on each side of it. And it's really nice to tie bows with this ribbon. Okay, and also some white baker's twine on there. Alrighty, so what we need for this project is we need 3 pieces of the You're a Peach Designer Series paper, 2 that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and 1 that is 3 1/4 by 1 1/2. We need a piece of basic white cardstock for stamping. We need from the Layering Circles dies, out of Pale Papaya, we need a circle that measures, let's see, 1 1/8, and then the scallop circle from Calypso Coral that is a little bit bigger than that. We need this is from the Big Messages die. This is Pale Papaya. It's like a rectangle, a stitched rectangle. And we need a piece of Calypso Coral that is 10 1/2 by 7 1/4. Now you can do this with just the cards, the Designer Series paper, but since it's 10 1/2 by 7 1/4, I think I would do it with the cardstock and then add this, just because you'd only get 1 out of 1 sheet of Designer Series paper. So I decided to use the cardstock. And inside this is this gorgeous Barbie lipstick. Now I would, if I was giving this, I would put some tissue in there with it, or maybe a gift card. But I love this packaging. It reminds me of when I grew up, this Barbie. And it's such a pretty, pretty lipstick. The color is matte, which I don't usually use, but I also got a beautiful lip gloss to dab over it. But isn't this a gorgeous lipstick? And you press the button and it comes up. And there was, right in the top, there was a Barbie head right in the top, but I've used it, so. But isn't this gorgeous? I just had to show you. And I think I got this at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, let's see. Marshall's, $3.99. And it's pure X Barbie. Pure Cosmetics, so they have lots of good makeup at TJ Maxx if you're looking. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna get my Simply Scored. Now you can score when you get this trimmer. They give you 2 pieces. One is a lighter color than this. One's for scoring, one's for cutting, but it's just like that. I have a 3-way light switch. I've been here in this house 30 years and I cannot remember which one is for which. I'm going to cut paper I should be scoring, so I like to use my scoreboard separately. Alright, so we're going to start on the 10 1/2 inch side. Oh, there's thunder. Sorry about that. And we're going to score at 1/2, 4, 5 1/2, and 9. Then we're going to switch it to the 7 1/4 side, and we're going to score at 1 1/2, 5, and 5 1/2. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to fold and burnish. Okay. So, what we're going to do, the skinny rectangle is on the left-hand side of the 10 1/2 inch side, okay? So it's all the way over at the left. Oops. Okay, and then you have a 1.5 inch down here, and I'm not sure. I think this is 2 something. Let's see. Sorry. It's 1 3/4 inch strip on the top, right? So most important is look for the skinniest rectangle that's on the edge and put it on the left-hand side. And this is what we want to do. All right, so the bottom, we're just going to get rid of this and then keep the rectangle straight and wedge the squares. And then the top, this is going to be this flap here. Alrighty, so we're going to get rid of this rectangle here, keep the flap straight, and then get rid of everything on this side. All right. Okay, so let's start on the bottom on the left-hand side. And there is the bottom of the skinny rectangle here, the lowest rectangle, we're going to just take off. And we're going to wedge a little bit in the piece above it. Okay, so that's what I did there. All right, now this rectangle, which I missed a little of the score line, I usually cut the score lines off. Okay, and then we're going to go to the other side of this score line and we're going to cut that straight. We're going to skip the square just for now, and we're going to cut the other side of it straight. Okay, so these 2 edges of the rectangles are straight, and then we're just going to wedge a tiny piece off each side of the square, and that makes it a nice tab for us. Okay, then we're going to move on the other side of this longer rectangle. We're going to cut that straight, and then we're going to wedge both sides of these squares. Okay, and that's what we did with that. Now we're going to turn it so the skinny rectangle is on the right-hand side. Okay, now we're going to get rid of this rectangle, this rectangle, this one, and this one. So there's 6 rectangles, 1 too big in the middle and 2 smaller on the sides. We're going to get rid of those. Okay, so let's start on this one on the right-hand side. We're going to get rid of this piece here, which is a rectangle, and the square above it. Okay, got to get rid of these 2. And then we're going to wedge into the piece that's above it. Okay, so that's what I did on this side. Now this is going to be our flap, so we want the other side of that to be straight, so we're going to go bring it to the second score line. Okay, so that's our flap. Now we're going to turn it so that what's left of the skinny rectangle is on the top. All right, and we're going to go, there's a rectangle here and a skinny one here. We're going to cut all of this off all the way up to the flap. So it's 1, 2, and we're going to stop at the 3rd score line, and I just made a mess. We're going to stop right at the flap, which is the 3rd score line. So, okay, and that's what it's going to look like. All right, now we want to get the detail trio punch, and we're going to round the corners of the flap. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like after you have scored it and cut the pieces off. All right, so now we need some tear and tape, and we're going to put it on what's left of the skinny rectangle. Okay, and then we're going to figure out, this is going to be the front. Okay, so the piece that doesn't have the flap, we're going to flip it over and put tear and tape on this one as close to the edge, and you can put one in the middle if you wanted to. Alright, so I'm going to get my take your pick tool, which saves my nails sometimes. My nails stay short. Okay, so then we're going to fold this side with the flap over and then fold the other side over to meet it. Okay, and then we're going to put the 2 side flaps in the back, and then we're going to put the top down, the front flap on the top. And I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and square at the corners. Put it down, and then just go in there and make sure that it adheres. Okay, now I just want you to push with your pointer in the middle, just gently, and squeeze with your thumb and other fingers, and just kind of guide the sides nicely in. You don't have to squeeze it all the way because we have a gusset here. All right, you can if you want to, it's fine. But if you guide it nicely, you won't get any extra folds on the side. Okay, and that's our box. So it looks really cute. I think this is an adorable little box. Okay, now we have our DSP. So we'll put the front and the back pieces on with liquid glue. And you can use your Stampin' Seal. I'm just not very good at placing it down right away in the right spot. 9 out of 10 times I have to slide it a little. So that's why I use the liquid glue. And a little bit squeezed out, but I'll get that with my glue eraser after it dries. Okay, so that's the front, and now the back. Oops, my fingers are sticky. Okay, now for the flap piece, decide which way you want up. I think this way is better. And maybe that way. And what I want you to do is round the bottom corners. Now on this one, this is a busy pattern, so I don't know if you could see it very well, but I used the little, I don't know what, this part of the detail trio punch for the corners. If this was a less busy pattern, it would show up more. So it's up to you if you want to do it on this. It depends on your paper, but I'm going to do it anyway. You just put it in again and see how, I don't know if you can see, there you go. It works very well with the, okay, so there you go. All right, and then I'm going to just glue this on with liquid glue also, and I'm just going to make sure I put a dot around the outside of this so that that catches too. Ooh, oh darn. All right. Okay. I'm just going to put this right on my flap. Just like that. And you can kind of see the edges where that cute little punch out is. Alrighty. So, this is what our bag looks like so far. Alrighty. Alright, now I'm going to get some of my 5/8 inch adhesive Velcro dots. You can use the 3/8 inch. This is just big enough, so I'm going to try to use these up that I bought by accident, but it adheres it nicely too. So I'm going to take one side and put it on the lid, and then I'm going to put the other one on top of it with the adhesive facing me. Just make sure now that the sides of your box are nice and even before you press it down. So I just want everything to come out right. Okay, once you have it, give it a press, then open it up gently, and then you can really push it so it stays. I think I saw a little bit of glue come up over here. Alrighty, and I got these, I think at Walmart.com, but I've seen them on Amazon also. Alright, so then, there goes our box. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of stamping. On our basic white, I'm going to stamp the 3 flower image from Sweet as a Peach and Have a Peachy Day on our label. With that one I'm going to do with Pear Pizzazz. Okay, so I'm just going to, we only want the biggest flower, but they come in a 3, so I'll save those for another time. Okay. And before we do the Pear Pizzazz, I'm going to do the middle of the flower. It's like a starburst kind of look with Early Espresso. Okay. And I'm going to cut this with the peach dies, which I've already done. So there's our cutout flower. Now for the sentiment, which says Have a Peachy Day, because these are peach blossoms. I didn't use, you could use the peach paper for this too, and that would be cute. All right, now for this, if you notice on this one, I kind of cut off the P a little bit. So I'm going to try to stamp this Have a Peachy Day as far to the right. I might have to lose a tiny bit of the edge of the Y. That piece that sticks off. Yeah, that's fine. Now I have a little, although it is a little bit crooked, but that's okay. Right? Nobody's perfect. Okay. And then I'm just going to stamp. I'm going to put a hole right in the middle. Okay, and let that dry. Now, let's move these to the side to dry a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up our box, and we're going to use, this is a 1/8 inch hole punch, and about, I'd say almost half an inch in on each side, I put a hole. Okay, now I took the Pale Papaya woven ribbon. I used about 8.5 inch strip of it. And it all depends on how tight you make your knots. You might, if you make a bigger knot, you might need a little bit more of this. But I'm going to try to tie a knot as small as possible. Try to get it all the way to the end. There I go. All right. And then we're going to stick it in one side from the inside out. And then we're going to have to stick it down into this side and then tie the knot after we thread it in. So this gets a little bit harder on this side, but it's doable. All right, and we'll try to get this one small also. Good enough. And then this one I left a little longer, so I'm just going to snip off that extra. This one has a little bit that I could get off. All right. And then we're just going to pull up our handle. Now this one I tied the knots a little bit less, so it's a much higher handle, but either way is fine. All right, and then I'm just going to close this. Okay, and that's most of our, just going to make it even. There we go. That's most of our bag done. Okay, now for the embellishments. We're going to take the Pale Papaya circle and just glue it right onto the Calypso Coral scallop circle. Okay, my camera file got corrupted and it didn't catch the last of what I did. So what I did is I took the Pale Papaya circle, I glued it to the Calypso Coral scallop circle flush, okay, and then I glued the flower on top of it because I was going to pop it up, but I don't want people to grab that instead and rip it off of the box. Okay, so they're all on there flush. Then I took this piece and I put glue on only the top half. I opened it up and held it there a while until it was nice and dry. Okay, then I'm not sure I got this piece either, so I punched a hole in there. I threaded on some white baker's twine. I'm losing my mind. And I pulled these through, and then I tied a knot in the front and tied a bow. Now you could leave these strings long, like on this one, because I used a much bigger piece than this, or you can have it short, but on this one I think I'm going to leave them nice and long. Just like that. And I put, for the final touch, I put a 2021 to 2023 in color Pale Papaya, one of the larger gems, right in the middle of the flower. All right, and that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. As I said in the beginning, if you'd like to buy any of these products from Stampin' Up, you can buy them through me. My address is at the top of the screen. All the details of this are going to be on my blog, which I will link below, and my contact information is below also if you'd like to become a demonstrator. Let's see, what else? Oh, I ordered a lot of new things from the new August to December mini catalog, so I didn't pay for expedited shipping, so probably in about a week or two I will show you what I bought. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.